Good morning, Brimfield. It's Cassie Weir, the park director, and I am at Lions Park today, and it is very, very cold and very snowy. But that doesn't mean that there's not nature to be found. Nature is always all around us, no matter what the temperature. So today I'm going to bring you a few nature finds I found out on the trail, some footage from our trail cameras, and a viewer submission. So thank you as always for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I hope you have a great weekend. Thank you, Brimfield. I was out at Lions Park looking for some wildlife, and it was super cold and there wasn't a lot to see until I walked over to this tree that had some fruit underneath it. I saw a few different species of birds, including this one that a lot of you are probably familiar with. This is the American robin. We typically think of robins as springtime birds, but not all robins migrate, so it's not uncommon to see them this time of year. They're able to stay around as long as they are able to find food, and during the winter they shift their diets from mostly insects to fruit. Feathers are awesome insulators, and they allow the robins to stay warm even in the coldest of temperatures. They're able to keep their feet warm because they have extremely fast blood circulation that doesn't allow the blood to stay in their feet long enough to freeze. American robins were named by European settlers due to their resemblance to the European robin seen here, although they aren't related. European robins are a species of chat, where American robins are in the thrush family, which are birds that are known for their melodic songs and omnivorous diet. American robins eat both fruit and insects, and their diet changes with the seasons. During the spring and summer, more insects are available, but as temperatures drop in the fall and winter, they rely more heavily on fruit. Scientists have even found that a robin's diet changes through the course of a day. They eat more worms in the morning and more fruit in the evening. Maybe that's where they got the phrase, "the early bird gets the worm." Now we're going to move on to my favorite segment, which is the trail cam footage. If you don't have a trail camera, I highly recommend getting one because there is nothing better than going and collecting your trail camera and see what animals you've captured on it. We've had a lot of snow lately, so I didn't see too much on my camera because all the animals are taking shelter right now, but I did get some footage of this blurry bunny. Like the American robin, this is another species that a lot of us are probably familiar with, but just because they're common doesn't mean they're not interesting. So I wanted to talk more about the eastern cottontail rabbit. You might be able to figure out where this rabbit got its name from. It lives in the east, and its tail looks like a ball of cotton. So this is the eastern cottontail rabbit. Eastern cottontails are one of the most common wildlife species in Ohio and in North America. And they can be found in a bunch of different habitats, including fields, woodlands, swamps, and they're highly adaptable and they can live just about anywhere. This trail cam was placed in a wetland area back on the trails at Lions Park. Eastern cottontails are herbivores and they feed on grasses during the warmer months, but in the winter they feed mostly on bark and twigs. Eastern cottontails are prey animals, and they are preyed upon by many different animals, including foxes, coyotes, hawks, owls, weasels, and all kinds of other predators. So they had to develop some adaptations to be able to survive. Eastern cottontails are able to run up to 18 miles an hour, and when they're in danger, they run in a zigzag pattern to confuse predators. They also have nearly 360-degree vision, which allows them to see predators coming up from all angles, and also makes them really difficult to get photos of. Because they're fed upon by so many predators, they need to replace their populations very quickly, and they do a really great job of doing that. Female rabbits have an average of 4 litters per year with 7 young in each, But in a good year, they can have up to 7 litters with 12 young in each. If you're doing the math in your head, that is up to 84 babies per year. Fun fact, a male rabbit is called a buck, a female is called a doe, and their babies are called kittens. We had a viewer submission this week from a resident who wanted to remain anonymous to protect the animals that are living on their property. These animals are super cool, but unfortunately they're also super destructive and they're a nuisance to a lot of people. So I appreciate this person wanting to remain anonymous. And you've probably already guessed by these photos, these are the gnawed trees of North America's largest rodent, the American beaver. The American beaver is about 2 to 3 feet long, not including its tail, and can weigh up to 100 pounds. They are quite large. If you've never seen a beaver in person, I'm always startled by how big they are. They are the second largest rodent in the entire world, the first being this one here, the capybara, which is native to South America and is nearly twice the size of a beaver. Beavers are semi-aquatic mammals, which means they spend some of their time in the water and some of their time on land, although they are highly adapted for movement in the water. They have webbed feet, water-resistant fur, and a flat rudder-like tail that can also be slapped against the water to make an alarm call to warn other beavers of danger. Beavers are one of many animals that have a third clear eyelid known as a nictitating membrane. This eyelid acts as a barrier that helps them see when they're underwater, kind of like a pair of swimming goggles. Many birds, reptiles, and mammals have nictitating membranes which help keep their eyes from drying out, including domestic cats and dogs. You may not have known this about your cat or your dog. That's because this eyelid moves so quickly that you often don't see it. Beavers are rodents, which means that their teeth never stop growing, so they need to constantly file them down. To keep them filed down, they chew on trees and branches. Their teeth are orange due to an iron-rich coating that protects them from breaking. Beavers are herbivores, and most of their diet is made of tree bark and also of your word of the day. I think I forgot to put a word of the day in the last episode, but we're going to go back to it. And your word of the day is cambium. Cambium is the soft tissue that grows under the bark of a tree. This is the part of the tree that produces new bark and new wood every year. Beavers prefer to chew on hardwood trees like willows, maples, birches, aspen, cottonwoods, beeches, poplars, and alder trees. Beavers use the logs and branches of the trees that they cut down to build dams and also to build their homes, which are called lodges. When a beaver wants to move into an area, they will create a dam to stop the flow of running water in rivers and streams and flood the area to create a pond, which is their preferred habitat. They can also dig canals to bring water from larger bodies of water to their feeding area. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Backyard Brimfield. Remember that you can send in your nature findings and questions to me before each episode, and I'd be happy to include them. I'm going to leave you with some trail camera footage of this raccoon that was standing on its back legs and sniffing around that didn't really fit in the episode, but I just had to share it with everybody. So look to our website, our social media pages, and our YouTube channel for updates on programs and events. And until next month, this has been Backyard Brimfield, and have a great weekend, and thank you for watching.